Hello, I'm Rob. Welcome to another Square-based event report. This week, we had 24 players. It was a sold-out event at the TSN Arena, battling it out to become the best old-world player that weekend. Now, one of the exciting things about this event is that we had every single faction, Legends included, apart from Dark Elves. So it was really fun walking around all of the different tables, and definitely nice seeing as those Legends armies were in play. Therefore, it wasn't just the same few armies constantly battling against each other. I think this, definitely from what people told me, made it a very eclectic event. It was really cool to see. Definitely, compared to last week as well, we had a lot more dragons at this event, so that was a hot topic. Especially as Jack, who won the event last week with his Empire gun line, had brought a new Skaven list that he was trying out. A similar sort of list he was talking to me about as his Empire gun line, and the idea with the list is not to win big, but just to win. That's a pretty interesting concept, because at my events, you have to win all of your games in order to win the event. At some other events, what they'll use is a differential. If you beat your opponent by lots of points, your differential score will be higher. I quite like the win-loss system. I think that's quite an easy and simple way to go about it, and especially as I only have 24 people maximum, it means there can always be one true winner, like the winner that we had this week. David Dursmith, as I understand it, is an old Warhammer Fantasy battle player who played Wood Elves absolutely loads back in the day. And so he brought himself a new Wood Elf list to the old world and to the event and was able to win all 5 of his games. It's a pretty coveted title at the TSN Arena, where most of our events have always been won by someone winning 4 games and getting a draw. David's list contained a Tree Man Ancient that was a level 4 wizard with battle magic, a Glade Lord on a Forest Dragon with a Talisman of Protection, an Annoyance of Netlings, and a Befuddlement of Mischiefs, 2 units of 6 Glade Guard with Hagbane Tips, 3 units of 5 Glade Guard with Hagbane Tips, and 2 units of 5 Deepwood Scouts. And in the special section of the list, there were 3 units of 5 Sisters of the Thorn, and in the rare sections, there was a Tree Man and a Great Eagle. Now, I have actually recorded those games, and later in the week, maybe next week, I'll be posting those games up in full for people to watch, which will be cool. I recorded 2 of David games, so that's going to be pretty interesting to watch, especially as he played his longtime friend, Chris, in what was, in my opinion, because we watched it on Discord, an incredibly exciting match. But don't take my word for it. Let's listen to David and how he felt about running Wood Elves at this event. I'm joined by David. Hello.
Hello.
How can I just start with, you look great.
Thank you very much.
So you just went 5-0 with Wood Elves. How's that feel?
It feels like I had a more fun time than my opponents and had a great weekend, yeah.
Could you tell us what was in the list?
I'm running a Dragon Lord with Annoyance of Netlings, Befuddlements of Mischief, so drops your weapon skill on initiative, -1 to hit and challenges, doesn't die, doesn't like cannons, level 4 Tree Man Ancient, 5 units of Glade Guard, 2 units of Deepwood Scouts, 3 units of Sisters, another Tree Man, and an Eagle. So lots of small points that avoid you and shoot you, a dragon to bully your mages and small stuff, and a couple of Tree Men if you come in with some knights or something to hold them up.
Was there a game that you really enjoyed that was super tough?
Game against Chris Cousins is an old friend and was insanely close and just really back and forth. It was like one of the closest games I've played in my life.
I'm also right in thinking that you used to play a lot of Warhammer Fantasy Battle.
Absolutely tons. We played all through 8th edition, and actually me and Chris used to go to a tournament like once a month for basically the duration of 8th.
How have you found the old world in comparison, and also kind of like the newer community?
The newer community has way better hobby game than old fantasy did. The level of armies that you see around are so beautifully done and really positive. I think the community has not gotten to the point of some of the negativity that was in elements of fantasy back in the day. It's really positive. I think the game is more dynamic. There's more movement, more play that way, and a bit less of the wombo combo spells. I would like to see more infantry in the game at the moment, but I think it's a really strong game at the moment. I'm really having a good time with it.
Is there another army you'd like to play? You can stick with Wood Elves for a bit.
I'm playing Ogres against people at home because they're really fun to play, a bit more engaging to play against, and so enjoying the Ogres. I don't think they are very competitive and kind of struggle against dragons especially, which there's a couple of them going around. But they've got some tricks. I really like the Gorges. They're really fun to use.
Any advice for people who maybe want to go to events?
Just turn up. People will be friendlier than you think that they are. They will be more generous with your mistakes than you think that they will be, and you will have a fantastic time.
Thanks so much.
Welcome.
All the way back when I started doing faction reviews on the channel, I did say it felt like Wood Elves would be easily one of the better armies to play. But I do think it's got a really high skill ceiling, it's going to require a lot of effort to play and get the best results out of. As you can see in some of the matches, they were quite close. So really interesting. A lot of people were very enthused about losing to it because they started to understand, oh wow, there's this whole other way of playing the game where you're very mobile and you're being very agile, moving around the board. I think that was quite an interesting take. Not quite as successful as David, but Jack, who previously has been playing a lot of Beastmen, has started to play an Ogre list at the event. I was really excited to see Jack playing this list because I'm super keen to play Ogres myself. The list contained a Tyrant on a Stonehorn with a Talisman of Protection, Tenderizer, and Death Cheater. He had a level 4 Slaughtermaster with a Spell Eater Axe, a Lore Familiar from the Law of Illusion. He also had a Battle Standard Bearer with the Dragonhide Banner, and again it equipped him with Death Cheater. For core, he had a unit of 3 Ogre Bulls and a big unit of 7 Iron Guts, 2 units of 2 Saber Tusks, and in special, a unit of 4 Yetis, and in rare, 3 Gorges. Let's listen to Jack talk all about his list.
Hello, everybody. I'm joined by the #1 world's Ogre player.
Hello.
Maybe the only Ogre player.
Yeah.
You've been playing Ogres this weekend. How they been?
Interesting. I brought a bit of a joke list, to be honest. 3-drop, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 or 7 scout list, and I just thought it's very different to anything I've seen people play before, and it'll be not do very well, but it will give people thoughts that they haven't had to think about before to sort of counter. Having to deploy without seeing my army down is something quite different.
What was in the list?
So the big baddie was the Tyrant on a Stonehorn with the Tenderizer and a 5 ward. He had the Death Cheater name, but I forgot to use that all weekend for re-rolling the wound, which would have been useful in some points. So he did really well all weekend. The difficulty with him is there was a lot of more mobile baddies in the list, so every time you try to face something, it gets on the way.
Yeah.
So, but when he did get into things, he wiped out a great unclean one. He did good stuff when he got into combat. It was just getting him into the combat that was hard. There was then a Slaughtermaster and a BSB who sat in a block of 7 Iron Guts with Magic Res 2, rerolls, 1s, 5-up regen. So they were there to save points, and if they ever got into combat, win combats. I think they got into like 2 combats all weekend, but they survived every game.
Therefore, didn't give up points.
Exactly.
Right.
And then there was the 3 compulsory balls, which became chaff, along with 2 units of 2 Sabertus in Scout, a unit of 4 Yetis in Scout, and 3 Gorges in Scout. Gorges are crap. They're so bad.
That's what you'll change to next time.
Oh yeah, they would instantly drop out. I found I was usually, because I've only got that one, I've got 2 things that people are worried about. So a few of the lists which I struggle against just had more chaff and could just block. So I think if I had more chaff, I'd probably take more Saber Tusks or another unit of Yetis. They were really good. They usually died turn 1 because they got no save and they just got magic to shut off, but they soaked up the damage for me to advance with the rest of the army, sort of thing.
Did you have a favourite game?
Yeah, we played on stream the Demons of Chaos.
Best overall?
Best overall.
Yeah.
So it was, it was a really good game against Jack's Demons of Chaos, and it was just wild. Go watch it when it gets released.
Yeah, that's cool. And then any advice to people who might want to attend events in the future, especially old world events?
Get down here. The crowd's amazing here. Everyone's in the spirit of the game. There's no, people bring hard lists, but not lists that make you not want to play the game against them. So get down here, throw a list together. It doesn't matter what it is. Come down, bring your list, and just develop over time.
Good luck with the Ogres.
Cheers.
I do think there's a really interesting build for Ogres, especially multiple small units or MSU, because Monstrous Infantry, Monstrous Cavalry works so well with not needing an additional rank. But lots of people on the internet say Ogres aren't good. I don't know if the internet's right. I've run 10 events now. Ogres look okay to me, and Jack seems to think that they can do even better. However, with 24 players, that wasn't the only thing that was happening at the event. We always do a Best Sports at our event, and special congratulations to Alex for winning Best Sports. That's incredibly cool. We also do a Best Overall, where we awarded a big air fryer to our Best Overall player, which I think is always fun. That's a culmination of the Best Sports, the Coolest Army, and your player placings. Also, every single event, we do a Coolest Army award. In the future, I think I'm going to change it up to do a best single painted mini award as well, which I think would be really fun. But coolest army is player voted, and it was won by Toby. Toby has got an incredibly weird thing for spiders, and his entire army is spider themed. But don't listen to me. Let's listen to Toby, and let's look at his army.
I'm joined by Toby. Toby with an incredible Orcs and Goblins army. Toby, can you tell us about your army?
Yeah, it's just mostly spider focused. So I've turned everything I could into a spider. Even if it's not a spider, it is now a spider.
What was the inspiration to turn everything into a spider?
I don't know anymore, really. I just decided a long time ago, and I haven't questioned it since. And it's got weirder and weirder as we've gone on.
What's your weirdest translation into a spider for your hobby?
Probably the big Mega Gargant that I covered in spiders, or the Arachnarok I made really fuzzy and triggers people.
Okay, so Orcs and Goblins. What made you want to play Orcs and Goblins?
Just chaos.
Just chaos. Just chaos.
More chaos.
You were telling me that Foot of Gork wasn't working particularly well. Do you want to talk to us about that?
Yeah, it wasn't working very well. So you trash talk it, and then suddenly it does a great angle to go through their enemy wizard and both their skirmishers and kills a bunch of them.
Nice.
So I insult it even more, and hopefully it'll do better in future to prove me wrong.
Are you thinking of taking more Foot of Gork?
More Foot of Gork means more likely for it to do nothing or everything. So yes.
What was your favourite game from the weekend?
Probably that game, because Fanatics decided to have magnets to attract the Bretonians, and they all just hit them, and it was a great time for me. Sadly, not so much to the opponent.
How much have you enjoyed the old world much compared to some of the other games you've been playing?
It's been great fun, because I like the massive depth you get with making characters and units, and it feels a lot more personal. So, really enjoying it.
Any advice for people that want to come to an old world event?
Take spiders.
The hobby level at the old world events is always really, really high, and it's always super fun to see. One of my favorites was David's Bretonia army. Now, he said it's not finished yet, and he was a little shy about putting it out. So I'm going to show it you now, but please do know that this is a work in progress. My favorite thing about this army is the big tall grass tufts that you can see on the knights, and also the crew for the artillery pieces, because they really felt like that they were doing a medieval scene. It was just very fun, and I very much enjoyed it. I also absolutely loved, like I like seeing all the time, Richie's absolutely stunning Dwarven Mountain Holds army. He's just put so much flavor and character into his Dwarven army. It's just super fun to see. Jacopo, with his Demons of Chaos, also winning best overall, had an absolutely stunning Nurgle-themed Demons of Chaos army that was just absolutely brilliant to look at, and he had some really fun games with it as well, and I think got a lot of sports votes, so that was very, very cool. Rob Nixon had used a big Archeon from the Age of Sigmar range as a Chaos Lord on Dragon, which looked absolutely brilliant. He was having some real struggle with making it stay upright. And Chris Cousins was running an absolutely amazing Warriors of Chaos army that was all Tzeentch themed with loads of conversions in kit bashes, which was just absolutely top end quality. So another great event. There were some interesting rules questions over the weekend. Always, always, always vortexes. How do they work? What's going on with this vortex? How does terrain work? Those are always questions that commonly come up. Normally also multi-charging and also declaring charges can sometimes be a bit of an issue at events. So those are things that I would brush up on if I was going to an event. I think the biggest takeaway for me, as always, was that loads of people at the event were just having a good time. I felt more enthused about my hobby. I started talking to people about lists. I remember at one point, just after I'd done some rules querying, I started to rewrite one of my lists that I've been working on for Warriors of Chaos, because I was just so excited about playing in the future. I think that's the thing that's always good about events. They always make you really enthusiastic about playing in more events or playing more games. So I want to thank all the players for playing at this event, and you for watching the video. I hope you like these. You seem to really like this last time I did it, so I'm going to try and do these every time we host an event. If there's anything you'd like to see me put into the future, like more interviews, or you'd like to see more army lists or anything like that, please do let me know. But I did record 4 of the matches at the event as well, and I'll be editing those down over the next few weeks, and hopefully there'll be even more good, high-quality content from Old World for you. Thanks for watching this video, and thanks for being square-based. I'll see you soon.